You know, in algorithmic trading, timing isn't just part of the game. It is the whole game. A single millisecond can literally be the difference between a winning trade and a losing one. So in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how you can master time in MQL5 so your strategies execute with absolute precision.
Okay, so let's really think about this for a second. You've coded your expert advisor, it's up and running, it's watching the market, but have you ever stopped and asked, what clock is it actually looking at? Is it your computer's clock? Is it the server time in London? This is way more than just a minor detail, because if you get this wrong, your time-based rules could be completely out of whack with the market.
To figure that out, we have to start at the very beginning. We need to understand how MQL5 even thinks about time. And believe it or not, every single bar, every tick, every trade, it's all built on this one single foundational data type. And this right here is the key to everything. See, for the MQL5 engine, a moment in time isn't a complex thing with dates and hours. Nope, it's just one single massive number. That number is simply the count of every second that has passed since midnight on January 1st, 1970. Using this universal standard, often called epoch time, makes time calculations for the computer incredibly fast and totally unambiguous.
But of course, you and I don't think in terms of billions of seconds, right? That would be impossible. And that's where MQL5 gives us a helping hand. As you see here, we can declare a datetime variable using a format that we can actually read. You just use the letter D and then put the date and time in single quotes. The MQL5 compiler sees that and does the hard work for us, converting that nice readable string into that giant integer behind the scenes.
All right, so we know how MQL5 stores a specific moment in time, but what about getting the current time, the time right now? Well, this is where you need to pay close attention because your program essentially has 3 different clocks it can look at, and picking the right one is crucial.
And this table breaks it all down. First up, and honestly the most important one, is TimeCurrent. This gets the time directly from your broker's trade server. It's the official time of the last quote they sent you. For any logic involving trading, placing orders, managing positions, this is the only clock that matters. It's the market's time. Next, you have TimeLocal, which is just the time on your own computer. It's fine for writing to a log file maybe, but you should never ever use it for trading logic. And finally, there's TimeGMT, which gives you universal Greenwich Mean Time. This one's perfect when you need to do calculations that are independent of any local time zones.
Okay, so we've done the right thing. We've used TimeCurrent to get the accurate server time, and we're holding it as that huge number of seconds. That's great for the computer, but it's not so helpful for us. How do you write a rule like, don't trade before 9 a.m. with a number like 1.6 billion?
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. That single integer is super precise, but it's not very practical for what we need to do. You can't easily ask it for the individual pieces of information, like the day of the week or the current hour, that you need to build smart trading rules. We need a way to unpack that number.
And here's the solution, this incredibly useful thing called the MqlDateTime Structure. Think of it like a conversion kit. It's designed to take that one big datetime number and neatly break it down into all the individual parts a human understands: the year, the month, the day, the hour, and even the day of the week. Now, this is something we can actually work with.
So, you have the raw number on one side, and you have this empty organized structure on the other. How do you get from A to B? Well, MQL5 gives us a simple but really powerful function that acts as the perfect bridge between the two. This whole process boils down to these 3 simple steps. It's a little dance you'll do all the time. First, you grab the server time with TimeCurrent. Second, you create an empty MqlDateTime structure. Think of it like an empty form waiting to be filled out. And third, you call the function TimeToStruct. You just hand it your server time and your empty structure, and boom, it does all the work, filling in that form with all the correct details. It's that easy.
All right, let's pull all this together. We've gone from a pretty abstract concept, time as a single number, to a really practical workflow. Let's just quickly recap why getting this process down is an absolute game changer for anyone serious about coding in MQL5.
So if you only remember a few things, let it be these. 1. At its core, all time in MQL5 is just a number. 2. For anything related to your actual trades, you must sync with your broker using TimeCurrent. 3. To make that time actually useful, you need the MQL data structure to chop it up into usable pieces. And 4, the magic function that connects them is TimeToStruct. This entire workflow is the bedrock of pretty much all professional time-based logic in MQL5.
And this brings us to the really fun part. Now that you have this kind of precise control, just think about the possibilities that open up.
You can finally build bots that only trade during the London session, or strategies that automatically shut down before a major news announcement. You can have systems that behave differently on a Monday than they do on a Friday. The ability to properly read and react to time is now in your hands. So the real question is, what are you going to build with it?